In a dramatic shift in strategy, Ukraine is pivoting its approach to secure vital U.S.-made weapons amid a freeze in direct American military aid. According to sources cited by Politico, Kyiv is now urging Washington to allow European nations to purchase American weapons on its behalf, a move designed to bypass restrictions and ensure a steady flow of arms to counter Russia's ongoing offensive. This development comes as the Trump administration has halted some previously allocated military aid, including critical Patriot air defense interceptors and high-explosive artillery rounds, catching Ukrainian officials off guard. The suspension of U.S. aid, first reported by Politico, has sparked alarm in Kyiv, particularly as Russia intensifies its military campaign in northeastern Ukraine, targeting the city of Sumy and seizing key mineral deposits. With no new U.S. military assistance on the horizon, Ukraine is exploring creative solutions. Several European governments are now considering using their own defense budgets to buy American-made weapons for transfer to Ukraine. These purchases would count toward NATO's new defense spending targets, though no firm commitments have been made. The catch: any such transfers require explicit U.S. approval, and negotiations are ongoing to iron out the details, including navigating U.S. restrictions on re-exporting American weaponry. These restrictions have historically been a hurdle. During the Biden administration, for instance, British Storm Shadow missiles were withheld from Ukraine because they contained U.S.-made components. Ukrainian officials are now pushing for Washington to lift these barriers, emphasizing the urgency of bolstering their defenses. American-made systems, particularly air defenses like the Patriot, are considered unmatched in their ability to counter Russian missiles and drones, making them critical for Ukraine's survival on the battlefield. The timing of this proposal coincides with a recent meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump on the sidelines of the NATO summit in the Netherlands. Described as really positive and productive by sources familiar with the exchange, the meeting saw Zelensky brief Trump on the war's current state and outline Kyiv's pressing need for support. Trump, reportedly more sympathetic to Ukraine's cause after the discussion, did not rule out providing additional Patriot systems, though he noted their scarcity. "They're very hard to get," Trump said at a news conference, hinting at potential flexibility. However, the Pentagon's decision to pause munitions shipments due to concerns over dwindling U.S. stockpiles has added urgency to Ukraine's new approach. The freeze, which includes critical air defense missiles and precision-guided munitions, has left Kyiv scrambling. European allies, stepping up their support, have pledged $23.5 billion in aid for Ukraine in early 2025, with an additional $40.6 billion committed for the year, according to NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Yet, Europe's capacity to supply advanced systems like air defenses remains limited, as most are produced exclusively in the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee Chair Roger Wicker confirmed that Zelensky's latest request focuses less on direct U.S. financial aid and more on enabling Europe to fund American weapons purchases for Ukraine. This shift reflects Kyiv's adaptation to a changing geopolitical landscape, where U.S. support has become less certain. Meanwhile, efforts to secure new funding for Ukraine have stalled in Congress, with the last major aid package, $61 billion, approved over a year ago. GOP leaders have signaled that Ukraine is not a priority, despite bipartisan calls for renewed assistance. As Russia escalates its attacks, including a barrage of 477 drones and 60 missiles on a single day, Ukraine's need for robust defenses grows dire. A Ukrainian official underscored the necessity of American systems, stating, "Some types of weapons critical for us are not produced by anyone in the democratic world except the U.S." With domestic production ramping up and European allies exploring new ways to contribute, Ukraine is betting on this innovative strategy to keep its defenses strong. Whether Washington will greenlight this plan remains uncertain, but for Kyiv, it's a race against time to secure the tools needed to hold the line.